Anderson School of Management podcast series, Success Beyond the Classroom. I'm your host, Ian, and I work for the corporate and community engagement team here at ASM. Today will be our second episode recorded live here at University of New Mexico. Our goal with this podcast is to invite people from all walks of life to share their stories, experience, and expertise. These UNM alum, local, and regional employers, as well as students, will provide valuable information and knowledge about student success, career insights, and up-to-date industry trends that will prove to be invaluable for helping you reach your ultimate goals in college and beyond. In saying that, this podcast episode will feature some esteemed members of CREWNM New Mexico, where they will share their insights on networking, looking for and taking advantage of opportunity, creating a sense of community, and speak about their available scholarship funding. Joining us today are Claire, Dee, Christa, and Travis. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome CREWNM New Mexico to the podcast. All right, Claire, thank you for being with us here today. Appreciate it. Would you like to just give yourself a little brief intro?
Sure. Well, excited to be here. My name is Claire Kowalski. I am a commercial lender at UMB Bank. I'm also the 2026 chapter president of CREWNM New Mexico and a former Lobo, still a Lobo. I graduated from UNM in 2016 with my accounting degree.
Excellent. So what is your involvement with CREWNM New Mexico?
Right. So I'm this year's chapter president. I have been involved in CREW pretty much ever since I entered the kind of banking and lending industry. I started right out of college, and I started just joining CREW events, attending different luncheons, meeting people that way. And then soon after that, I got kind of tapped onto the shoulder to help start planning some events and joining committees. And long story short, now I'm the president. I've been on the board for, it's been my fourth year on the board, and it's been a great experience.
Excellent. And so with your experience with CREWNM New Mexico, what kind of history and background can you give us about it?
Sure. So CREWNM New Mexico is our local chapter. We are the only chapter in New Mexico. We are part of CREWNM Network, which is our parent organization. CREWNM Network has about 88, give or take, chapters across the country and globally, many in Canada as well. CREW is an organization that has a mission to advance women in commercial real estate. We do that in many different ways, but CREW Network is our parent, and our local chapters really focus on the local individuals in our industry, what's happening in New Mexico. But there's also a ton of opportunity at the CREW Network level, one of them being the scholarship that we'll talk a little bit about.
Yeah, great. Well, and I know that the scholarship is probably one of the best opportunities students can take advantage of with you also. How does that work?
Right. So the CREW Network scholarship. So CREW Network Foundation is our philanthropic arm. All chapters within CREW Network raise money for foundation every year. It's a big piece of our mission. And one of our pillars is the scholarship program. I think the best thing about this scholarship is it's not just about the money. I mean, that's kind of the point. We're looking for different ways to fund our education. And this scholarship, it does offer $5,000 to undergraduate students and $10,000 to graduate students. But there's much more to it than that. It gives you the opportunity to have a mentor at the CREW Network level in the industry that you're interested in. With the scholarship, you get travel expenses and the cost of registration for our annual convention, and so many other little details, that it's really not just about the money. It's about the networking opportunity, the connections, and everything else that you can get with it. It's an incredible program.
Yeah, it sounds very holistic.
Yeah.
Now, how can students get involved with CREW?
So students can get involved with CREW. I would suggest really just taking a look at our CREW New Mexico website, taking a look at the events that we have calendared for this year. We have about 5 general events every year that are luncheons, and our holiday party at the end of the year that are open to the public. So you don't have to be a CREW member to attend those. You're welcome to reach out to me or any of the other CREW members that you hear from today or in your classes. If you're interested in joining, we'd be happy to, invite you as our guest, kind of introduce you to people within the room, depending on what you're interested in. So I think just attending an event is the first step to get involved with CREW. We do have student memberships. It's about half the cost of a normal CREW membership. So there's an opportunity there. And I would just say, if you're at all interested in the commercial real estate industry, just start by attending our events, learning more, meeting people. We're a very warm and welcoming group, and we want to help you make the connections that you want to make.
And that's great. It sounds like an opportunity for students to get involved. Is there a differential between, how CREW can help them while they're in college versus how they can help them with their careers?
Sure. So while you're still in college, whether it's, looking for mentors, either formally or informally, anybody in CREW is going to be willing to even just sit down with you to have coffee, or if you need more than that. It's important to us to help bring up the next generation of individuals in our industry. Many of the CREW members in our chapter are companies that you've heard of, might be interested in working for. So anyone in CREW would help you connect with their organizations on internship opportunities. So those are just a few things while you're in school still that we can help with, and really just making connections to prospective employees or industries that you might be interested in. On the kind of professional development side, and how most, if not all of us, use CREW as a networking organization, it's really to get deals done. It's to find people that, Albuquerque is a small community, and New Mexico, a lot of us work throughout the state. And so to make those connections, to get deals done together, to have resources, it's not just about closing deals. It's also about having people kind of in your circle, in your corner, to help you through different questions you might have or things like that. So that's a big component. Business networking is a big component of CREW New Mexico, but also mentorship and professional development lasts your whole life. It's not just when you're in school. It's not just when you're early in your career. We all are constantly learning. So CREW is a great resource for that as well.
Excellent. Do you ever find yourself in a mentorship position?
I do. Well, I think that, just being in a position of leadership, and that's another thing, CREW is a great safe space to learn how to be a leader. So, many of us, and I personally hadn't been on a nonprofit board until I joined CREW. So that's a huge component to our organization too, is learning how to take on those leadership roles, small and large, and be in those positions, how to be on a board, how to help move an organization forward, strategic planning. All of those things are things that you learn within CREW, and that benefits you at your day job too, right? Because you have to be a leader formally and informally at your job every day as well. So CREW is a great way to flex that muscle and learn how to do that in a safe space.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I like you mentioned safe space,
Yes.
kind of low risk while you're in college.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, I know that you all are having a career fair coming up
Yes.
March 31st.
Yes.
And what can the students expect with that fair?
Great. So we're going to have a number of CREW members whose companies are hosting tables at the career fair. I would encourage you to come, whether you're a freshman, you're a senior looking for an internship at any stage. These people are here for you to be a resource to ask questions of. You don't have to know anything about their company or what they do. Just go, show up, shake hands, talk to people, learn more, and just be open. Again, you don't have to come with a resume if you're looking for an internship, but you can. Just use those people are here specifically for you on that day to meet you and be a resource to you. So just be open, don't be overwhelmed. I think especially when I was, in college, just coming into the workforce, it was scary for me to walk into spaces like that. Don't be scared. It's never as bad as you think it's going to be. And just meet people. I think it will be really fun. This is, I think, our second year doing it. Last year was great. And the students that showed up took our business cards, reached out after. I still have connections with many of them. So, yeah.
And I think a lot of times, we tout this as a commercial real estate fair, but I feel like maybe all different concentrations within the business major might find a fit.
Absolutely. So, and maybe others in this podcast are talking about this, but commercial real estate is a big bucket that includes so many things. Anybody that can be involved in the sale, purchase, construction, insurance of a commercial property, what fits in with commercial real estate, anyone that provide any business that provides a service to a commercial building fits within CREW as well. And although, you have your concentration and maybe you're thinking, well, I don't know, I'm in project management or I'm in something that's not accounting or finance. Why would I be interested in commercial real estate? There's so many disciplines, even outside of business school, architecture, engineering, all of those things align with a profession within commercial real estate. So I would just say, maybe there's something you're interested in. Maybe you just want to know more about what's involved in commercial real estate. Something that you're studying is going to be applicable to one of those careers.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing that. Do you have any final thoughts or memorable events that happened while you're with CREW?
Well, so many. I've gotten such a great opportunity to contribute both to our local chapter and to CREW Network. Like I said, we have conventions and summits every year with CREW Network. There are different places in the country. I would just say, final thoughts. When I graduated college with my accounting degree, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I kind of fell into SBA lending, and CREW is such an important piece of my journey. I would probably be here at some capacity in banking, but I would definitely not be as far as I am in my career at my age without an organization like CREW. So whether it's CREW, whether it's something else, we have so many different networking organizations across Albuquerque and New Mexico that I would just encourage you to look into, be involved in. Everybody starts somewhere. And you'll be surprised how comfortable you can be and how fast you can grow by just meeting people around you and making those connections.
And I really appreciate that you mentioned the website.
Yes.
I think that's something that we'll go ahead and put in the description of the podcast. People can visit, be proactive, figure out what you all have going on.
Right.
And thank you very much for your time and your insights today.
Thank you.
All right, Claire. Okay, and we have Dee today joining us on the podcast. So if you'd just like to introduce yourself a little bit, give a background, let us know your role with CREWNM Mexico.
Sure. Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Devonda Batres. Everybody calls me Dee, and I am secretary on the board of directors with CREWNM Mexico this year. And so just entering in onto the board, but I have been involved with CREWNM Mexico for many years. And I'm going to say that joining CREW was probably one of the most influential groups that I've ever been a part of.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your current position and what does your day-to-day look like?
Sure. I just moved over to HomeWise, which is a nonprofit community lender, so a CDFI here in New Mexico. They've been around for 40 years. But prior to that, I was in banking for over 20 years. So moving over to a different career industry, I'm now director of business development at HomeWise.
Oh, great. And what made you kind of decide on that change?
Yeah, big decisions, big adult decisions. Really, it was, I have to accredit it to my degree. My degree is in finance from New Mexico Highlands, and I was a non-traditional student. Went to school for many years and have many associates and certificates to prove that, but really didn't have a focus on what exactly I wanted my bachelor's to be in until I joined CREW. When I joined CREW, it really was just being in banking, being on the commercial lending side, and having somebody in my group that was a CREW member that saw something different for me and encouraged me to get involved. And that's really how that started. Just, do you want to be in CREW? Do you want to help me with these committees? And that's also how I learned about CREW, the scholarship, the mentoring program, and it catapulted me into realizing that my degree was going to be in finance and pushing myself to be more and to grow more in my career.
That's great. Sometimes it's all about those relationships, right?
It is.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about how you found Crew New Mexico, and you also talked about your student story a little bit.
Mhm.
It's quite common that students come into college and they don't quite really know what they want to do, and then sometimes it falls in place for them.
Yes.
And so it sounds like you're one of the lucky ones that happened to. But when you were a student, what did you do to find success as a student? What kind of things did you do?
So when I was a student, it was a constant in my entire career from beginning to end. I would not the end of my career because I'm still in it, but it was always a constant to be trying to evolve myself educationally, trying to prove to myself that there's more. What else can I learn? What else can I absorb? Not only from my current company, but from outside the company. Who else can I meet in the community? Um, so I think it was always a constant throughout, but really finding people who were interested in what I was interested in, having those unofficial mentors or champions within my group, somebody that was, you're really good at this, you should explore this more. But that also made me a lifelong student to where I was changing my interests all the time, until I didn't and I finished.
Absolutely. So a little trial and error.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Now, as far as being a student and thinking forward to your career, it sounds like it took you a little time to build up steam and to really find that, passion. And so, what are some of the things that you did as a student that kind of helped you prepare for the career field?
Sure. Networking as a student with here's something that I tell a lot of students that are younger than me, because again, I was a non-traditional student, was a full-time employee, full-time single mom of two, and full-time student. What I did was I balanced those three responsibilities with throughout my days. And I networked at every single one of them. I networked within my community for my children and made sure that they were supported. I also networked within my company in my career, to make sure that everybody knew what I was doing there and how I needed to be supported and how I could support my company. And then third, I took those same concepts when I became a full-time student. So when I had my mindset and I know I'm going to graduate with a finance degree, I did the same with my instructors because I was non-traditional student. I was remote. They needed to know who I was. They wouldn't see me in person in the classroom every day, but I needed them to know who I was. And the way that I did that was all of the networking and introductions and how do you stay in contact with people. So before every semester, I would send an email and I do a brief introduction of who I was, what my goals were, and then I just maintained that throughout the semester. And it really did help me in those times when I needed the extra support, when I needed to reach out to my instructors. But I will tell you, I also attended CNM and graduated from CNM. I had a associate dean at CNM ask me if he could be my mentor, and I really feel that was because of my networking. But same thing happened where the head of the business group at New Mexico Highlands asked me if she could be my mentor. And she then became my mentor and was providing me job opportunities. Unknowing that I had a full career already, she was taking me on meetings to meet employers and was really trying to push me along in my degree field, which I felt was really impressive. It was really nice to know that networking could go so far in all areas of my life.
Yeah, networking is super important, but it also sounds like you put yourself out there and did some self-advocacy as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the self-advocacy is not so much boasting about yourself. It's really just saying, this is who I am. This is where I'm coming from. This is why our relationship is important. And then fostering that. It's really just that. It's not bragging about yourself or these are my accolades. It's nothing about that. It's really just, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. And I'd really like to gain some of whatever you have at the table.
Right. It can be risky, but a lot of times it pays off.
Yes.
Okay, so you spoke a little bit about Crew New Mexico and the impact they've had on you. And also, I know that you received a scholarship from them.
Yes.
So how exactly did that work out?
So the Crew Foundation Scholarship is a nationwide scholarship. And what that does, it is for upperclassmen, so junior, senior, or in graduate programs with women in the commercial real estate industry. And finance falls into that category. And I was currently working in commercial real estate as in the lending side of commercial real estate. So I met all the criteria to at least be interested in the scholarship. I was entering in as a junior, almost to be a rising senior at New Mexico Highland. My GPA was there. My work history was there. I had commercial real estate. But really, that just fell into place as, like I had mentioned, I worked with somebody who was a true champion for me and introduced me to Crew. She asked me to help her on a committee, and it was the Crew Careers Committee that is putting on the career fair at UNM. And she asked me to be a part of the committee and just help out. And that's what I did. I just followed her lead, helped out where I could. And we constantly were talking about the scholarship and how somebody in New Mexico needed the scholarship. We needed to find a way to reach out to students. We needed to start recruiting. And I just read through all of the requirements and thought, well, how do I get in touch with UNM, CNM, New Mexico State, just everybody, Highlands? How do I share this information? And as I was reading through the requirements, I was like, wait a minute, check. I am all of these things. So I asked if there was a conflict of interest if I applied, and there wasn't. And I applied and I told my story. And as I did that, I was selected out of over 200 applicants across the nation.
Wow.
And I received a scholarship to help me finish my degree. And it did. It helped me finish out. So I didn't have to take on additional student loans. And I also didn't have to take on any tuition reimbursement requirements. I was fully, handling that on my own, which is, it's a freedom. It's a freedom to, especially when you're a traditional student and you're trying to step into another world, having that ability to not have as much debt, hopefully no debt. But if you're taking on like tuition reimbursement, there's ties to that. Like you may have to stay with that company for a few years, but if you can step out of that and open up the doors to freedom so you can grow in your career, it's really beneficial.
Well, I'm kind of sensing a theme here of like taking advantage of opportunity.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you mentioned the career fair, which is coming up here at the end of the month. What is that all about, and what can students expect when they go to the fair?
Sure. So when you come to the fair, this is new. I believe we're in our second year and maybe our third or fourth career fair with UNM. And really what we're looking for is we're looking to see, are you interested in being an intern in commercial real estate? Do you know what commercial real estate is? Because everybody who has a table in that room is some part of commercial real estate within New Mexico. So when you come, please come with your resume. Please come with your interest. Let us know where you want to go in your career. And for example, we hear a lot of like, I want to be an accountant. Great. Does that mean that are you getting your CPA? Because not all accountants get their CPA. And that's okay. And if you want to get your CPA, great. But did you know that there's specialties in every career? So think about commercial real estate as a specialty, or at least a focus within your career, and take advantage of the scholarship because it's there. And I was the first recipient of the Crew scholarship in New Mexico. And now we've had a second, and she attends UNM, and she connected with us She had heard from us from other colleagues within she's an architect, so an architect, intern architect, I think is her title. She had heard about us, but she stopped by the career fair just to get more information and then decided she would apply for the scholarship, and she received it. So definitely come with your interests, be open-minded, and say yes to opportunity. Don't talk yourself out of an opportunity, because you never know where it'll lead you.
Right. And I think that's the power of these fairs, is that there is opportunity, whether it's scholarship or maybe an internship or even networking.
Yes.
Even just practicing like an elevator pitch and talking to people.
Yes.
Right. Great opportunity for the students.
Yes. And we've done a lot of that. CREW has grown from the career fair to speed networking opportunities, talking to sororities, fraternities, and really just trying to share what information we've learned within our career and how can we help you. I mean, we're a networking group. We just want to help you. We want to get you in the door, and we want you to be a confident person coming into your professional world.
Great. Well, I appreciate all your insights today.
Sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think I will also say that saying yes to the opportunity is something that I try to tell other people. Just be open to the yes, but being open to the yes also means that yes, you'll finish your degree. Yes, you'll get opportunities through that. Yes, you'll network. Start leveraging all of those, even your professors, even anybody, even family members. It's all about who you know. But without saying yes to opportunity, I wouldn't be at HomeWise. I wouldn't be in a different direction in my career, and being able to help my community, which is extremely important to me, but help community find creative ways for home ownership, which I was in commercial banking, which was great, but now I'm in a different segment, and it really just expands more of my career.
Well, awesome. Thank you very much for sharing, Dee. It was great having you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And next we have Christa joining us. Christa, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So would you like to just give a little introduction, a background of yourself?
Yeah, my name is Christa Garnand. I'm a fourth-year architecture student. I'm also getting a minor in business management. I'm currently here at the University of New Mexico, and I'm expecting to graduate this May.
Great. How exciting. Okay, so what is your role with CREWNM Mexico?
So with CREW, I ended up being a 2025 national scholar, and that's how I got involved. I learned about CREW through one of my coworkers. They had sent me the flyer to apply for the scholarship. So I went and applied. I ended up getting it. So with that, with CREW, because I'm a student, I have less of a role, I would say. I participate when I can, and it's been a great resource to network with people and to, open doors that I wouldn't necessarily have without CREW.
Okay, great. So, as far as your student success, what are some things that you do to kind of leverage resources on campus?
So on campus, I would say I attend every networking opportunity that I can, whether that be, career fairs or things like that. I also use my professors as resources. If I have questions, I'll go to them, and they'll help me the best that they can. And then really just following up with people that you meet. You can make those initial connections, but you got to foster those to really get somewhere. So I would say networking with people, this is probably really one of the only times you're going to be in this sort of close-knit community with a bunch of resources at your hand. So really just investing in those relationships.
Yeah, it's kind of cliche, but sometimes it is more about who you know than what you know.
No, it is. It is really. That's the reason where I've gotten to where I'm at, is by not necessarily bugging people, but bugging people if I want something. So you got to follow up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, taking agency and kind of having that self-advocacy to reach out and not be afraid to ask those questions, or, try to get mentors and things like that can be the difference between, success and failure a lot of times. And with saying that, you've got student-focused leveraging that you're doing. What about for your career? How are you preparing for your career while you're in college?
So preparing for my career. So I have been on campus, I've been a part of a sorority. I've also done a study abroad. I've tried to participate in campus activities, and then again, that's how I meet people. And then meeting people has really opened up doors in my career. And then also when it comes to architecture, just keeping up my grades and really working on my resume, my portfolio, and things like that, that'll help me prepare for a job after college.
And that's great. And my understanding is that you have an internship with Decker. Is that correct?
Yes, I currently work at Decker. I've been there for almost 2 years now. So that's been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And how does that look as far as what you want to do in your career? Is this something that is basically a clear trajectory right into your career?
I think it could be, but now I think I could go the trajectory and go straight to grad school, which is not off the table, and go and pursue licensure. But being a part of Crew, it's honestly opened up a lot of new doors and new experiences that I didn't really know were possibilities for me. So I'm also exploring things like that. But yeah, with my internship, it definitely reflects what I'm doing with the architecture program now.
And how'd you find out about that internship?
A career fair, actually. Yeah, so I went and I talked with a couple people there at the career fair. I tried to figure out who I knew, if I had any connections to the company or anything like that. I met with the people from the career fair. I emailed them, sent them my resume, my portfolio, and then I tried to see if I knew anybody on a more personal level, try to get in contact with them and see if they could help me out.
That's great. And what does your day-to-day look like working there?
Typically, my day-to-day, I will use like CAD software, and I'll be 3D modeling. I'll prepare presentations for clients. I mean, every day looks a little bit different. I'm either working on things that are really early in the process, like schematic design, or I can be on the field at a construction site. So it really just depends. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So you spoke a little bit about the scholarship. I'm kind of curious, like, how do you find out about the scholarship? What did the application process look like? Those kinds of things.
So, like I said a little bit earlier, I found out about the scholarship through a coworker who had sent me the Crew flyer, and then directly after that, I had to see if I actually qualified for it. I did. I think you need to be a junior or above, have above a 3.5. You need recommendation letters, you need a couple of essays, things like that, and then you need to be under one of the qualifying majors in order to apply. And then after I found out I actually do qualify for this, I went to the career fair. I spoke to Dee, and I was asking, since she was a previous scholarship winner, I asked her for some advice on how to format my essays. I took her advice. I wrote my first draft, and then I asked some of my professors, I asked my coworkers, my boss, I asked them, okay, what do you think of these essays? And they all gave me their feedback, and then I ended up submitting essays with their feedback. So it was really a collaborative effort. It took a lot of people for me to really feel confident in my essays. So, but that was the main thing, I think, was the essays. And then I think it was a resume and your grades, of course.
And then how did you apply that? Was that something that went towards your tuition, books?
So you could have either got it directly, you can get a check directly through the school, or you can get it sent directly to you. It really just depends. But yeah, both of those are options, and you can use it for books and tuition and things like that, or you can, if that's maybe covered by another scholarship already, you can use it for just living expenses and things like that.
Well, that's great. So you did mention that, working with Crew New Mexico, you've maybe found some alternative avenues that you hadn't considered before as far as maybe careers and stuff are concerned. Would that at all change your major, or would it still be within the architecture major with a business minor, or would you go a different route completely?
I don't think it would change my major completely. Maybe something that's more adjacent, maybe like real estate or development. I'm particularly interested in development of smaller communities, since I grew up in a really small community. my graduating class about, well, I graduated from Albuquerque, but if I were to stay there, I moved when I was 16 and it would have been about 30 kids. So a town of about 2,000 people. So I really have realized how much how development, how if there's a new building or if a building's taken away, it really affects the community and everybody knows about it. So that's something I'm really interested in exploring, and maybe there's a different path that can help me better serve that versus the typical architecture route. But I don't know. I still love architecture, and obviously it's this weird transitional period right now where I'm sure nobody at my age really knows what they want to do. So I'm really just trying to lay out all my options and kind of just see what sticks.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. So, the Crew New Mexico Fair is coming up at the end of the month. What's your role in that fair after receiving the scholarship?
So I'll be there. For the most part, I want to do kind of what Dee did for me, was offer advice if anybody is interested in the scholarship, kind of share my experience, how I went to, how they give you the scholarship also gives you access to Crew Network convention every year. I didn't even know until later on in the process that I'm actually able to get to go to the next convention fully paid for if I sign up for a mentoring program. And then there's also the New Mexico mentoring program. So I just want to be an asset to students like myself. And then, if they have any advice, I'm more than happy to give my email, my phone number, whatever they want, and help them out in that way and just kind of tell them all what Crew is about and the value of it.
That's great that you mentioned mentoring. Is that something that you reached out to a mentor as a student, and then now are you feeling like you want to pay it forward and be a mentor yourself?
So yes, yes and no. I'm still gonna get mentored, so I'm actually joining a mentoring program with Crew New Mexico. It starts tomorrow, actually. So I'll get somebody who's more developed in their career, and hopefully they can mentor me and kind of push me to the path that I don't even know I want to go on yet, but hopefully help me find some sort of direction. But yes, I do want to mentor students that are in the same shoes that I am.
Yeah, I think mentoring is oftentimes overlooked, but very powerful resource to leverage. Absolutely. Okay, so with that being said, is there anything else that you'd like to share about your college experience, Crew New Mexico, your internship with Decker?
Mm. Like you were saying, it is pretty cliche before. It might not be what you know, but who you know. And just making those connections are really important. Following up with people, being kind to people, just really putting your best self out there and meeting people. Just put yourself out there. You're not going to know what's out there unless you try it. So
Absolutely. And with that being said, with Crew New Mexico coming at the end of the month, are you going to attend the career fair as a student as well? I noticed that they have a lot more people joining than there have been in the past. It seems like it's growing a little bit. Is that something that you would explore as a student as well?
oh yeah, definitely. I'll be there with my resume, my portfolio. I'll definitely table a little bit, talk to the people that are there because like I said, I don't know everything. I really don't know anything right now. So it'll be nice to go around and see who's there and then also talk to students from the other side as well. So
Right. And it sounds like maybe a little piece of advice for students when they come to the fairs to maybe bring their resumes. I mean, what do you recommend students prepare before they go to the fair?
everything that I've learned from going to career fairs is firstly look up who's actually going to be there, learn a little bit about their company or who they're with. If you have a specific interest, make sure you prepare some questions. A resume doesn't hurt, dressing professionally doesn't hurt, and all those things. Just come prepared and seem like you're interested, and they'll be interested in you.
Great. Well, thank you for your insights. I think we'll wrap up with that, and I appreciate you being here with us today.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And finally, we have Travis with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ian. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Great. So you want to just give us a little background about yourself?
Sure. So Travis Lewis, I was born and raised in Los Lunas, New Mexico. I actually went to Butler University for my undergraduate degree, got my degree in finance. And now I'm in the banking industry. I'm a business banking relationship officer. So work with a bunch of local businesses within the Albuquerque and Los Lunas community and help them grow.
Great. And what's your role with Crew New Mexico?
So in Crew, New Mexico, I've been involved with the organization. This is my second year now. And currently I am co-chairing for a committee called UCREW, which we do community outreach to college and high school students to educate them and present opportunities for them within the commercial real estate space.
That's great. Something I'm learning about doing this podcast so far is that it seems like Crew is very holistic. There's a lot of different avenues that you guys are all involved in.
There is, absolutely. So I'm also on a membership committee, and they kind of go over the applications for people wanting to join our networking group. And but there's, I think 15 or so different committees. There's a whole bunch of different avenues that anyone can take. We have student memberships, which is awesome. So really, we just want to educate as many people as we can on commercial real estate and what is out there and available to them.
Oh, that's great. Sounds like a good opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
So you mentioned you were a student. You didn't graduate from UNM. You graduated from somewhere else, which is fine. What brought you back to New Mexico?
A lot of reasons. I left to get away from my family, and I came back because of my family. I missed them. I miss the food. The food out here is top notch. Weather is great. The mountains, you can't beat it, honestly. And there was a lot of opportunity here. I had connections already. And so it just made sense to come back and, build my career within the Albuquerque market.
So as a student, what do you feel like were some of the things that most led to your success?
So that's a great question, because I'll be honest, Ian, I wasn't a great student. I really tried my freshman year, and I think I tried too hard and I got burnt out. And then sophomore year of college, I kind of went the opposite route and cared more about the extracurricular activities more so than the schooling. And I think I finally found a balance my junior year. You can't just solely focus on the schooling or solely focus on having fun or extracurriculars. You got to have a nice balance. Otherwise, you're going to burn out, or you're going to, fail within your classes. So I think for me, the key was just getting involved with, I'm a big sports guy. So I was playing intramurals. I joined the practice team for the women's basketball team at Butler, which was really cool. So I think just getting involved in a bunch of different things while you're in college really, really helps leading to your success.
Yeah, and I think sports gets overlooked a lot with, developing certain skills that are super beneficial, not just for sports, but just life in general, leadership, teamwork, communication, those types of things.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Teamwork is massive in sports, and it's also important in the workplace. So don't think I'd be where I am today without my sports background.
Now, while you were doing all that stuff, were you the type of student that was already thinking ahead towards your career? Did you know what you wanted to do? What kind of things did you do to try to set yourself up?
So going into college, I really wanted to be a financial advisor. But throughout the process, the college that I went to, it was required that you get an internship. And I didn't have any connections in Indianapolis, so I had to come home for a summer. And I was able to get an internship with a bank as a credit analyst. And the credit analyst intern analyzes the financials of companies, see if they qualify for loans. And I really fell in love with it. And so I kind of pivoted my junior year from wanting to be a financial advisor to, hey, this banking thing is really cool. I had fun doing it. So I'm going to try to find a job in banking once I finish my degree. So going in, I had a plan, but it's always good to be able to pivot too.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like a good story of adaptability, not only changing your direction, but also like coming back from a completely different state just to take advantage of an internship opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, going to a completely out of state college, I had no connections there. So finding an internship over there was pretty difficult. Thankfully, I had some back here, and it really worked out for me.
So would you say sometimes it really is more about who you know than what you know?
100%. 100%. I mean, who you know gets your foot in the door. It gets you there. And then what you know is what keeps you sustained within your career. because people are gonna, realize if you don't know anything, they're not gonna want to keep you around a long time. But who you know definitely gets your foot in the door, no doubt.
Absolutely. So I know that Crew offers a scholarship, and I know that I think it's at least across the United States and maybe even into Canada and some other places. What's your familiarity with that scholarship?
Yeah, so I personally have never applied to it. Whenever I was in college, I didn't even know about Crew when I was in college. But I do know that, it's a national scholarship, so anyone in the 50 states can get it. We have 2 recipients here in New Mexico, both being quite recent. And the deadline to apply is April 1st. It is for those that are involved in industries within commercial real estate. Now, accounting, finance, all of those are related to commercial real estate. So it's really broad. And then it is a women's scholarship only, because CREW is commercial real estate women. We really want to advocate for women and push them along in their career.
Yeah, one thing I'm learning as well is that, within the real estate industries and Crew as a whole, there are a plethora of opportunities for students to find employment. And, it can be anywhere from, furniture design to, building permits, banking loans. It goes across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going into my career, I had no idea how detailed commercial real estate is. I mean, you have accountants that do the taxes and audits for, these real estate companies. You have lawyers that help with the closing contracts and purchase agreements. And you have bankers that help with the financing. It's really crazy how many opportunities there are in commercial real estate. And it's really cool to see, honestly.
Absolutely. So, you guys will have a career fair coming up here. I believe it's going to be March 31st at UNM. What can students expect from that fair? What's your role going to be during that?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I know we've been partnering with UNM for a few years now, doing this career fair. And really, students can expect to get knowledge and connections with bunch of different professionals within the commercial real estate industry. I know we're going to have real estate agents there. We're going to have banks there. We're going to have, I believe, an accounting company. So really, whatever you're interested in, you can learn a lot, find out what internships they might have available. Me personally, I'm going to be with the Crew table. So I'll be educating students on our organization and commercial real estate as a whole, as well as, really pushing in the scholarship, especially since the deadline's the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming up quickly. And how can students best prepare for the fair?
Come ready with questions. Be open to learning about every table that's there, what the company does. Just come open-minded. I don't necessarily say come prepared with like a resume or anything. Like, that's great to have. But really just be open to learning and making connections. Be willing to talk to everyone, every table, and you'll be surprised. You might come across a table that you've never even heard of their industry before, and now all of a sudden you might be interested in it. So that's my main takeaway, is just be open-minded.
Right. And with that being said, some students might be interested in what it is that you're doing, and what does it look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
That's the best thing about my job, Ian, is that every day is different. Every client is different. Every loan is different. But really the main day-to-day thing of my job is staying in contact with my network of professionals, my clients, just making sure their needs are met. And, whenever loans come in or deposit opportunities come in, that's fantastic. But really, it's just building relationships and making sure that my clients and my colleagues know that I'm there for them. But the best thing about banking is that every day is different.
Yeah. Some people need that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any other thoughts, any memorable stories while you're with your time with Crew?
Not necessarily any memorable stories or anything. I know last year we did a speed networking event here, and that was fantastic. The students were extremely engaged. I came to the career fair last spring, and there was a student that was interested in banking, and I was able to connect him with started off as an internship, and now he's working full time at a bank as a credit analyst, which is always cool to see. But I mean, Crew is fantastic. All of my mentors in my career have been women. And so I really just wanted to give back, and, women got me to where I am in my career. So I want to help women advance within commercial real estate as well. And so I'm excited to see everyone at the career fair on the 31st, and look forward to meeting all the students and making some great connections.
Well, it sounds like you're into paying it forward, and you mentioned mentorship. Is that something that you're interested in? Are you open to being a mentor? Can people contact you if they have more information?
Yeah, always. Crew has its own designated mentorship committee and process, which I'm currently not a part of, but definitely in the future I plan to be. But I mean, my phone is always open. My email is always open. I love to get lunch with people and just, talk, whether they need advice or whether they just, have some questions on commercial real estate, whatever the case may be. I'm always open to that. Absolutely.
And what does the future look like for you, say, grad school or furthering your career? Are you open to those types of things?
Grad school, I've given it a little bit of thought, and I'm still pretty fresh out of college. And so I'm a little bit feeling the education hangover still. So I don't think grad school is in my immediate plans, but definitely sometime down the road, I would like to. I think the main thing that I want to do is go to banking school. So I went to a lending school at SMU, Graduate School of Banking. It was a week-long program. I went to that last spring, but just furthering my career and education in banking in particular is what I'm looking to do, and just learning as much as I can from all of the great women in our organization.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like, at least with your career and where you're at, it doesn't require a master's degree to be successful in it.
No, it doesn't. I only have my bachelor's. And there's some people, I think the industry has shifted a little bit, but there's some older folks that are in a role similar to mine who never went to college at all. But college is important. It's getting more and more important. And but yeah, I didn't need a master's or anything like that. I think the internship that I had was the most beneficial, because it really not only gave me some experience within the industry, but it allowed me to meet other people in the industry. And so whenever I graduated, the people that I did the internship for contacted me. They're like, "Hey, I know you're graduating this semester. We have an opening. How about you come work for us full time?" And so I think the internship was fantastic, and I highly recommend everyone doing some kind of internship.
Well, thanks for sharing your experience and giving us your insights. Really appreciate having you here, Travis.
Thanks. Thank you for having me on, Ian.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And once again, I'd just like to thank you all for joining us on the podcast today. I really appreciate your knowledge and insights and taking the time to speak with us. I think the students will be able to relate to a lot of your stories and hopefully take advantage of the opportunities that you all are offering. We'll leave CREW New Mexico's website in the description. I encourage you all to take a look, learn more about their mission, their events, and if you're interested in applying for their scholarship, there will be more information there as well. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.